Chris Richter here from ricochae.com.au. Great to have you here again. We're still continuing our series of H5P. And if you're not sure what H5P is, check out the first video in the series, which there should be a link down there for you, about the H5P activities, what they do. We're going to look at the course presentation. And to do that, we're going to jump to h5p.org/presentation and have a look at what the course presentation component looks like, or the activity. Then we're going to quickly build one of our own. So let's have a look. The course presentation is really about presenting a bit like a PowerPoint with slides, and in those slides you can have all sorts of content. In the example that we've got here, which is one that they created for you on h5p.org, they've got a slide bar along the bottom which shows you each of the frames, and you can see we've got 1 to 10, and you can click through the arrows and just jump through them if you like. There is a background picture for each individual slide or for a group of slides, if you like. There is also a full screen button if you do want to go full screen and jump it up to that, which everything will scale nicely. Sometimes the images won't if you don't have high enough quality images, but that's up to you. Then as you go through each slide, you can insert activities, quizzes, questions, multiple choice, drag and drop, all sorts of other types of questions. And all of those happen inside each of the components. So you can answer each one of these if you like, and then jump to the next slide. You can also have people type in their answers for questions. If you go a little bit further, you can jump to different slides from one slide to another slide. You can embed videos inside them as well. You can have full screen quiz questions as well. And if we jump a little bit further over here, you'll see that with our final check or our final quiz, if we just go check and we refresh and get them right, we don't know what the answer is, more than 50. Okay, so retry. More than 50, check. We can then go to the last slide, which tells us our results for all of the slides as a bit of a summary. And that's optional, you can turn that off as well. That's what the course presentation component looks like. We're going to jump in and create our own. So jump into your LMS, into Moodle. We're going to go down to our experiments. We've got editing mode turned on. Add an activity or resource. Jump into H5P. This is called the course presentation experiment. Quite simple. Then we jump down to our content bank because we're going to add that from the content bank. Select add, and we're looking for course presentation. Course presentation experiment. And then we come up ready with our slides. And you can see all the components along the top that we can add to a slide, and you can see the slide numbers down the bottom. Then we have our add a new slide, clone a slide, which is useful. The slide background, moving slides left and right, and deleting a slide. So there are slide controls. And if we just click add, and put 5 in there, we can then jump to slide number 1. Quite simple putting in text. We click on the text box and we put in some text. And we're not going to go any further with that. We're just going to experiment and show you what can go in there. So that's some text that goes in there. If you want to reposition things, you can just quite simply just click on the object and drag the object. You can also put in exact positions. So if you want to line things up, you can position them and size them. So you just click on the numbers and you can resize them to whatever size you want, and you can reposition them to the exact position. So if you want everything aligned left on 40 of all of the different objects, you can do that. If you would like to duplicate, it's quite simple. You just press copy, and then you'll see over here that the paste box is highlighted. Click paste, and a copy of what you created will be pasted. So you can just go copy, paste, copy, paste. And when I mentioned that lining up to the left, if we wanted everything lined the same to the left, we can go in and check what that is by using the position. So it's 40. Go to this one and type in 40, press enter, and now they're aligned exactly to the left. That's simply how we add text. If we jump back down again here, and we go to our slide background, we can choose an image background or an image color. The template will be applied to all the slides. Or if we just want it for this slide, we can apply it only to this slide. presuming that you haven't chosen this slide for anything. So if we just chose a color, for example, nice, yeah, lovely blue, tealy color. Don't like that. Let's go for something a bit different. Here we go. We're just going to go with a nice cream. That's all we need to choose. And if we jump across our slides now, you see that they are all the same color. All right, let's try something else. We can add hyperlinks. I'll let you experiment with that. We can add an image. So if we choose image, it requires an alternate text, which is for accessibility for speech readers. So always put that in anyway. And then all we need to do is select add and find a picture. So I've added a picture in there. All I need to do is select done. And now the picture is in there. Then I can resize or reposition that picture to where I would like it to be. We can just put it up in the corner for the moment. So that's another thing we can add. We can add shapes. It's quite simply the case of choosing the shape that you would like. What the shape is, choosing the fill color for that shape, and all the other options and properties. Select done, and then you can move that shape around. And often what the shapes are quite useful for, and I'll show you over here, is for dividing up the slide into sections. You may want to have a section on the right and a section on the left, and you can use that to light those up. Now what I can do here too is choose this box, because notice the image has disappeared up the top here. We've got bring to front, send to back, and we can just click those to send things forward or backward. That allows us to hide and show each of the objects. Now let's move across to our next slide. The next slide is to add a video. So we can just click on video, choose video source, and if we put in a YouTube video link, I'll just go and grab one. Go to our YouTube video, grab the YouTube URL, back to our H5P, enter the YouTube video URL, select insert, select done, and there is a YouTube video in there ready to be played. We can resize that to suit. If we want to edit these settings, we go back to, we click on the object, we click edit. There are a few options in the YouTube video that we can choose. Obviously, we can add an image to replace the initial first image if we like. Show the player's controls. You can turn those off if you like. Probably not recommended, but something you can do. Then there's an autoplay option as well. If we select done, that's all there ready to be played. Let's move across to our next slide. In our next slide, I'm just going to skip over. Oh, there is the option to go to slide. Now this is an interesting one. If you choose go to slide, you can give it a title. So go to title, and then choose an actual slide number or go next and previous, if you like. So if we're going to jump back to the first slide, we can just leave it as number 1. That's the option. Now notice that all it is just some dots. That's all that's there. So what you generally have to do is put in some text, and put in go to slide 1 for the text. We can just manually resize that, put that in, and then put the button over the top of it. Now the important thing to do is always go bring to front for the part that is the outside or the selecting area. So when I say button, it actually doesn't give you a button, does it? Because that doesn't actually show a button. It does give you the option to say invisible or visible, which sort of looks button-ish. So we'll have a look at that in a sec. Let's jump to our last slide, because in our last slide, we're going to choose one of these interactive content. So fill in the blanks, single choice set or multiple choice, or true, false. Probably need one more slide for the drag and drop. Okay, multiple choice will do. Question is, who is the best band? You should know by now if you've watched any of my videos that the best band is Empire Between is correct. Then we've got U2 and Bon Jovi as our other answers. Done. And then we can resize that to suit as well. Making sure we have the check button in there is important. Okay, we're just going to add one more slide. Do that, we'll just go add new slide. And for the last one, I just wanted to show you the drag and drop. So if we go to drag and drop, this one's a little bit more complex. And if you've looked at the individual drag and drop activity and how that works, it is the same, exactly the same thing, but dropped inside this type of activity. We can add a background image to it, which is fine, to our drag and drop, and then we can add all of our drag and drop tasks inside there. That's our drop zones. So we'll just call it drop 1. Done. So we've now got a drop zone. We've got some text that will actually be what we're dragging. We'll call it text 1, and that goes on to drop 1. Just in there. We'll put that up out the way, and you can do an image as an object as well, but we'll skip that one for now. Whenever you select remove or cancel or anything, it wants you to confirm, so you'll need to go through that little process. The correct element will be text 1 when we drag and drop that on there. That's just to show that that drag and drop works. Once we're finished with that, we get right down the bottom and we select done. And we now have a simple drag and drop as well. And that's the most important parts of it. A couple of behavioral settings that we need to look at here is the hide summary slide. Remember I showed you a summary slide? You can add the summary slide in there. Then you've got all of the overrides and all sorts of other bits and pieces that can be shown there. So these are the text overrides to rename all of the different components that appear inside the activity, and there's a lot of them. There's heaps in there. Let's see what it looks like. We're just going to choose save. We can now have a look at our course presentation. So we've got some text on there, which is great. We jump to slide number 2, which we can use by clicking on the slides here, or we can use our arrows. You can see there's the image we loaded. There's the background panel that we put in with our background color for the slide. We jump across to our embedded video and we can just play that from there. Plays direct from YouTube. Then we jump to our next slide, which has a go-to slide. Notice when I moused over, it turns into the box. That's because we left it as visible. If we click on that, it will jump back to slide number 1. So that was from our slide number 4. That's how we jump between slides. Then we jump to our Who's the Best Band. Obviously the right answer is Empire Between, thank you. And we move across to our drag and drop, which if we drag it anywhere else, it doesn't do anything. If we drag it onto our correct answer, it jumps in. Now notice the panel hasn't fitted correctly for the size we need. So we do need to go back in, edit, and resize that panel to fit this particular type of question so that they can see the check answer. Otherwise they won't know it exists. And then we have our final one, which is the summary, which tells us how we went with the slides that have actual interactivity that is graded or scored. And that is a course presentation for you. Hope that's been useful to you. My name is Chris Richter from ricochae.com.au. Check out the courses down in the links below. Otherwise, I will see you very soon.